Howdy, everyone. Ninja Theory has put out some pretty good stuff. They're known for games like Heavenly Sword, Enslaved Odyssey to the West, and DMC Devil May Cry. Only one I've played was DMC, which I thought was decent, but at the same time, it was the only Devil May Cry I've played. I should really get around to playing the others. The team released what they call an independent AAA game, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, which first released on the PC and the PlayStation 4 in 2017. I thought it looked fine, but decided to wait on a price drop. The game went on sale multiple times, and I still haven't bought it. Then Ninja Theory got bought by Microsoft and went on to unveil the sequel. Okay, that looks amazing, and I need to play the first game. I procrastinated until 2022 to play the first game. Well, it's better late than never, so here we go. The game begins with Senua rowing towards Helheim to save the soul of her lover, Dylan. Or Dillion, I don't know how to pronounce it, I do not remember. The opening credits are appearing in the background, and one of the first things I see is that Ninja Theory hired a mental health advisor. Okay, that's interesting. So we know this game will tackle some pretty dark stuff. One of the main aspects of Hellblade is Senua's psychosis, or the Furies, as they're referred to in the game. This is where the expertly designed audio comes in. It's all on point. Throughout the game, Senua hears voices in her head, give her conflicting thoughts. Some voices try to encourage her to keep going on with her journey, and some tell her to turn back. The voices are essentially 3D audio. There is no UI. During exploration and fights, I mainly had to rely on the voices in Senua's head. I run into the first of many symbol puzzles, where I have to walk around a room and spot the Norse symbol letter thingy. It could come in the form of wood, blood, shadows, etc. And yeah, they do get repetitive pretty quickly. That brings us straight into the combat. It is simple but immersive, and the camera work during these fights make things feel a lot more brutal. On top of that, I have to rely on the Furies to tell me if someone is behind me or about to strike. I get killed eventually, and I'm told that I have this rot that will spread around my arm each time I die. And if I die enough times, I have to restart the game from the beginning. It's an interesting concept, but here's the problem with this. The game is a few years old. It's common knowledge at this point that this is all a lie. I get that the point is to give players anxiety over something that isn't really a problem, but with the internet being a thing, many who are going into this game later on, including myself, already know that I can die as many times as I want. For the first major area, I am greeted with more symbols. I hate having to stand on the exact right spot just to keep moving on. These symbols, these angles, and geometry. Afterwards, I go through these portals that take me to altered versions of the environment, where stairs and pathways are no longer blocked. These puzzles get repetitive, but I can get through them, and then suddenly I walk into this. What kind of place is this? Yeah, one look at this puzzle, and I decided to just look up the solution online like the true gaming scrub that I am. Did I mention that I hate puzzles? Roughly 25 minutes later, I finally finished this, and it's followed by one more puzzle. Are you kidding me? Well, I finally get to the boss. I have to fight Valraven. How do I pronounce him? I'll just call him Valraven. He is the god of illusions, and hell yes. I love the combat for this game, and as a result, I love this fight. I even unlocked this mirror that I can use to stun enemies a bit and slow time. Now on to the next area of the game. It's a bit more combat heavy, and I love it. But then we get to more frustrating symbol puzzles. Yes! No, these puzzles. This discount crucifix. Yo, I'm dropping so many F-bombs in this video. Eventually, I reach the area's next set of puzzles, which are a whole lot more simple. All I need to do is find one of these yellow stone things, and damn, everything is on fire. I just gotta run through a gate that was previously blocked, and the puzzle's done. It's really simple. This is a lot more fun than that portal knockoff from the last area, and it's definitely more fun than symbols. But now it's time to get to the next boss fight. Surt. All these Norse names are hard to pronounce. Surt, the fire giant. Hell yes. I'm in hell, and I'm saying hell yes. This fight is just as badass as the last one. After defeating these two bosses, Senua is now ready to cross the bridge to hell. That means less puzzles, more combat, which, if you can tell, is where the game is the strongest. Oh wait, no, there's one more stupid symbol puzzle. Okay, I'm ready to take on Hella, and she kicks my ass and breaks my sword too. God damn it. After some walking and some quick hallucinations of happier times, Senua now has to undergo 4 tests to get a new sword and take on Hella again. The first test is a labyrinth. This place. I found myself getting lost, and the voices were beginning to get a bit irritating. I actually had to take a break for a little bit, but I guess that was the intent from Ninja Theory. I think the depiction of psychosis in this game is meant to be exhausting, to capture the struggle of having something like this. It actually doesn't feel like a gimmick or virtue signaling, and I applaud the development team for that. So after some coffee, I came back and I completed this labyrinth. It's a labyrinth. Why can't I say the word labyrinth? I almost said Lambo. Labyrinth. It's a labyrinth, like that movie with David Bowie. And next is the blindness test. I had to entirely rely on my hearing to get from point A to B. When I first booted up Hellblade, it heavily recommended that I play the game with headphones. And the main reason for this is to perfectly enhance the feeling of having all those voices in your head. But I'd say it's almost mandatory for this section. You either need headphones or some damn good speakers. It is nearly pitch black, and the only way to complete this is to use the subtle sounds of water and chains to get to the exit and also avoid this beast. The third challenge is one big puzzle involving more symbols, and this other new mechanic that involves switching between the present and the past. Kinda like that one cool level from Dishonored 2. Has anyone played Dishonored 2? That game doesn't get talked about enough. But I digress. I wrap that puzzle up and go on to the final one. I'm in a swamp. Where the hell is Shrek? I enter this house. I have to do yet another symbol puzzle. But this is the one time where a puzzle like this actually works. Why though? Because this demonic fire monster thing is chasing me around, all while I have to look for these symbols. It's intense, it's fast-paced, and unlike most of the other puzzles in this game, it's fun. It kind of feels like a survival horror game here. All of the fun puzzles involve fire for some reason. It feels like I'm in the office during that one scene where they're having a fire drill. But yeah, I get through the 4 trials. Senua has a new sword, and she must go through the sea of corpses. And this is easily the most badass portion of the game. Just enemies everywhere that I can slice and dice. And the backdrop of this hellish landscape with all these corpses everywhere, it just looks amazing. Well, I escaped the sea of corpses, and I finally reach Helheim. And so now it's time to do some running from this beast known as Garm. I hope I'm not butchering that name. I must be a complete idiot if I'm mispronouncing Garm. But after some more redundant puzzles and some more running, I fight the beast itself. And this is gonna sound repetitive, but the fight is a lot of fun. I just freaking love the combat of this game. At some points during this fight, Senua receives these distracting visions that remind me of that Pokemon episode that landed kids in the hospital. Of course, I'm not gonna show it because I don't want anyone's eyes to bleed, but ultimately it felt unnecessary to me. Now that the beast is slain, it's time to take on Hella herself. I trudge through the last few puzzles and take on this epically sized horde of enemies. The final boss is this shadowy culmination of all the previous ones. Once I defeat it, I become surrounded by one last wave that kicks my ass. But fortunately, I was supposed to die at this point. All of this is to symbolize how Hella isn't really the true villain. Instead, it is Senua's desire to bring her lover back from the dead. When she's slain, she's also letting go of the possibility of bringing him back, and also embracing her psychosis. The game finally ends with Senua walking away, heading towards the sequel, because Microsoft and Ninja Theory need to grab that back. Nah, I'm kidding. I actually can't wait to play the sequel after playing this game. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. It's not a perfect game. The puzzles get repetitive. Real damn repetitive. But it's still a game with a great story, creepy atmosphere, and combat that is addicting as hell. This is evidence that video games are a serious art form. It tackles the theme of dealing with psychosis and processing grief in such a creative way that can only be done through this medium. I don't get why it took me this long to play this game, but I'm glad I did. So now I just need to wait for the sequel. I might as well watch that teaser trailer again. This makes for some badass workout music. Actually, what's the band? I want to give them a shout out. They're called like Heel Hung, Heel Hung, Hell Hung, Hell Hung, Heel Hung, Heil Hung, Hell Hung, Heel Hung, Heel Lung, High Lung. I am trash with names.